she's staying alive to satisfy you.
That is what people do. They stay alive for each other. I guess so.
I'm always constantly aware when I'm in Meryl Streep's presence that she is a keen observer. She is observing you on one hand, but also absolutely in the moment taking you in.
I think I've always aspired to have the same impact that she has in not being recognizable from one role to the next.
Oh my God.
When you watch her, you don't think about any other film she's done.
James Hurley, what are you doing out of class?
Sister James sent me down.
What for?
Talking.
Well, go back up and shut up.
She has a positive effect and a negative effect. The positive effect is that she lifts you. And yet, at the same time, the negative effect is that she's so good that you forget that you're in the scene with her and you really just want to watch her. And that happened to me a number of times where I was so captivated that I just wanted to watch her.
Perfect.
Meryl played a magazine editor, and of course she captured the spirit of that particular magazine editor so well. I mean, she portrayed her as lovely and kind and someone that girls all over the world can admire and want to work for. So, I mean, obviously, that was one of my very favorite roles.
Hop in. I'm dying.
She's just a loving person. She's kind and gracious, and she does everything she can to make everyone feel special and important and equal.
Take pride in being British.
There is just this leap of faith that she does in embracing the characters that she plays. I believe that she is incredibly blessed.
Anna Wintour. Oh, and Viola. Wow. Thank you, Stephen. I have written a speech because, oh, God. Because I can't read the teleprompter. And it's really long. And I'm sorry. Because I didn't know it was televised. I thought this would be the one nice evening where we could just go on and say what we want to say. But no. I'm honored to receive this award that has been given to the distinguished group of men. For the last quarter of a century. I wore the right dress, though, didn't I? No, I am really, truly honored to receive an award named for and in homage to the great director Stanley Kubrick. I mean, he was a filmmaker who was a chameleon, famously a perfectionist, master craftsman, never made the same movie twice. He had an avid curiosity and a point of view as far as he could see. If you can imagine it, you can shoot it, he said. From Paths of Glory to Lolita, to Spartacus, to Dr. Strangelove, to Barry Lyndon. I loved Barry Lyndon. I asked Stephen if we could light our movie in candlelight. He said, no, no, no. Full Metal Jacket and The Shining and Eyes Wide Shut, his restless imagination and his appetite for challenge, artistic challenge, might seem nowadays to be outsized and overly ambitious, and it's certainly not bankable, except for 2001. He probably could have gotten a budget for that. But I do stand in awe of his achievement and the regard in which he's held by our industry, by everyone, because he really did regard himself unapologetically as an artist rather than a businessman. And we have a lot of businessmen and women, and thank God we have business people. Otherwise, you know, how would we get paid? Who would we audit? But as a business, we support and promote too few artists, too few transformative artists, people whose work somehow characterizes the era in which they live. Stephen Frears is one of the directors who lives the model of Stanley Kubrick's life, and by rights I really should be giving this award to him. So I revere Stanley Kubrick, with whom I never worked, but I wish I had, because I know from my own life exactly what actors owe their directors. We owe them everything, and conveniently we can blame them for everything too. But in my career, I really can take very, very little credit for my movie destiny. As an actress, I'm an actress for hire. I'm not a producer. And I've always depended on the kindness of editors and the discretion and the good sense of my directors. And everything I have in my career, they're responsible for every accolade I've ever gathered up, including this one. So I'm going to take your time and thank some of my directors, because I don't know if I'll get another chance to. So I am grateful to the great Fred Zinnemann, with whom I made my first film. And the irascibly brilliant Stephen Frears, with whom I made my latest. I've worked with some of the greatest directors of our time. And just a few I'd like to mention. Michael Cimino for The Deer Hunter. The wonderful Robert Benton for Kramer versus Kramer. The legendary Carol Rice, who wrote the book on editing for The French Lieutenant's Woman. Don't clap up, everybody, because I got a list. My dear friend Alan Pakula for Sophie's Choice. My much-loved, many-time collaborator Mike Nichols for Silkwood, Heartburn, Postcards from the Edge, and Angels in America. The great Aussie Fred Skepsey for Cry in the Dark and Plenty. The splendid Sidney Pollack for Out of Africa. The pros, Robert Zemeckis for Death Becomes Her, and Curtis Hanson for River Wild, and Clint Eastwood for Bridges of Madison County. And the great Wes Craven. And the iconoclasts, Spike Jonze for Adaptation, and Stephen Daldry for The Hours, and the great Robert Altman, who cast me in his last movie, Prairie Home Companion. Compassionate David Frankel, The Devil Wears Prada, and Hope Springs. The irrepressible Jonathan Demme for Manchurian Candidate, and Ricky and the Flash. The goddess Phyllida Lloyd for Mamma Mia, and the Iron Lady. I can't believe I'm reading my credits. Don't be mad at me. This is about these guys and these women. My pal John Patrick Shanley for Doubt. The irreplaceable Nora Ephron for Julie and Julia, and the expert Rob Marshall for Into the Woods, and the intrepid and undaunted Sarah Gavron for Suffragette. I didn't mention everybody because we'd be here all night, but I am grateful. I am grateful, grateful, grateful. I began my career 40 years ago in England And if Stephen does a good job, it will not have ended this past summer in England. So thank you to the BAFTA LA, and I'd like to thank the British government for giving me 10 work permits to make 10 movies in England.